Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Bruce Sadlick. I'd like to share detox mechanisms and ways that we can detox and various methodologies that are out there for us to do so. So today we're going to talk about the clear change method. Clear change method does combine the utilization of a program, medically sound proven program, and a program that will help you also utilize weight loss. Typical clear change is about a 10-day program, and the weight loss is anywhere from 6 to 8 pounds during that time. The question is, are you toxic? We all are toxic in many ways in terms of the environment that we either lived in or that we're currently living in. The question is, how toxic are we? So let's take some further gander at this. Exposure to toxins. The CDC, as you can see, the Fourth National Report on Human Exposure to Environmental, we had actually found 212 chemicals. They had a volunteer and they pulled multiple volunteers and ran them through various blood tests and other methodologies and found that there were actually 212 chemicals was the average that they found per person. How do we get it? I mean, how does it happen? A lot of it happens from the environment itself. A lot of it happens from some of the products that we utilize either in office or home or a combination of home office. Unfortunately, certain factors, genetics, have a huge part in it. So the older we get, once we get past, usually we're getting into the mid to late 30s, genetic factors start raising their head. Some of them we'd like to avoid, some of them obviously we can't totally avoid. Genes turn on, and then we have the environmental exposure, and unhealthy diet and lifestyle just accentuates the problem. We also have a slowing of the system called the P450 system. So subsequently, when this system, which is a detox mechanism, when this system changes, we'll notice that the toxicity is more difficult to get out. As I said previously, the interesting item too to consider is the more medications we're on, some of the medications have side effects, and some of them can actually slow down this Ferris wheel that we call the P450 for detox. So when that is slowed down, then we tend to get not only excessive medication buildup, but we also tend to have our environmental factors add upon us, plus the foods we eat and the foods that we take in. So how do you make the change? The change is tough. The change is going to show in multiple ways: fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and various changes in your cartilage, ligaments, etc., as things progress. These are general symptoms. Some of us have all of these, some of us have one, some of us don't have any. But these are kind of a general way to look at what can we do to check this completely out. There are actually a questionnaire. It's quite great. You can find that at the office. Just email us and we'll have it up on the web today for you. Generalized muscle aches, concentration, fatigue, food allergies. Food allergies, basically, if you eat something, here's a really quick lowdown way of telling. If I ate something and I tend to have a lot of nasal eye irritation post-prandial, post-eating that, you may very well have a food allergy towards that food. So that's one way to tell. The other way is simply get laboratory serologies done. We can do that at the office. And also, if you're going to do that, might as well get a complete renal and hepatic panel too. Environment. So with the environment, you have some control over your home. One thing you can try to do is install a complete water system on your home, or if that's cost prohibitive, look at perhaps on your shower, reducing the amount of chloroform that comes from the chlorine once it's heated out of your water tank. The chemical-free products, if you aren't able to find any or they're cost prohibitive, a lot of patients have told me they've just basically diluted the product down. You can wear safety glasses and masks. And masks, as we all know, are a lot easier to find and use. The moisturizers at the very bottom here, avoid personal products with certain moisturizers. Usually the ones that tend to come in large containers have more of a waxy component to them. If you can, cut that back. And ways to cut it back, one very inexpensive way to do that is by using coconut oil. Cut it back with coconut oil, or try to eliminate them or find products that don't contain the parabens, etc. Food and drink. Reduce your exposure to the toxins when you can. Choose fresh fish rather than farm if you're able to. Hormone-free has been a lot easier to find now. You can get hormone-free chicken, eggs, etc. Even the regular grocery stores sell this now. Dirty Dozen. This is a great list, and we'll have it up for you. These are the items you want to probably spend a little bit more money on. You do want to try to buy these organic. These tend to have the highest amount of pesticides, herbicides, etc. So if you're going to use them, and you're going to use a lot of them, then try to utilize the organic version. Always still assume wash them down, prep them properly, and try to go organic when you can. If you cannot do so, then utilize the regular with a lot of washing, and don't eat more than 1 or 2 of these foods in this category at a time. Lowest in pesticides. So you can get this conventionally, which is going to save you some money and be much more cost effective. So items like this, you can either get organic, or as it says, you can eat these conventionally, which means they're non-organic. Still take all the food prep time and still do it correctly. Metabolic detoxification is the body's ability to process and basically excrete. So it's a slow process, but it's a process that if you do it frequently enough, you're probably going to make some success, and most likely you're going to feel better. The metabolic detoxification, the medical version, does provide nutrition support and a plan and menu to help you get through this. Liver. If you look at the body as obviously a complete organ, the liver is the first to get hit. Liver has phase 1, phase 2. And to make a long story short, you want to avoid overloading the liver with excessive either pharmaceutical, food, and or environmental toxin. So if you do have a tendency towards what's called a fatty liver, or NASH, N-A-S-H, then you need to definitely be much more conscientious of your food intake, the types of food, where you got the food, and also the quantity of what you're eating per time. Juicing and other fasting programs, sometimes it just doesn't provide you with the micronutrients that you need. And a lot of people can't do the plain juicing methods simply because they'll get the elevation of blood glucose levels, and then they'll get that rapid release. So the juicing, perhaps for a day with diluted juices, but try to stick more towards a medical protocol. This program is unique because it does help remove heavy metal. Heavy metal is all over, basically, and we all are subjected to it. There are tests you can get done that actually will tell you the amount of heavy metals. So for example, if you are a smoker and or you were as a kid subjected to a lot of smoke, i.e. closed environments, there might be more cadmium, lead, a lot of lead pipes, more so in the Midwest and in certain parts of California. These are usually from older structures. So heavy metal testing can be done and it can be removed, but remember, you didn't get it overnight, so getting rid of it overnight is most likely not going to happen. It's going to be a process to remove, but it can be done. Clear change. If you're looking to start the clear change program, the best bet is to, and I'll get into this when I get there, is prepare. One thing I like about this program is, number one, it's economical. Number two, it's got a lot of clinical research behind it. And it's been utilized on hundreds of thousands of patients for over 20 years. They've made it taste maybe a little bit better over the 20 years, but it has a great track record. When patients begin that, they feel less foggy headed, and normally they're going to notice less GI distension and bloat and better concentration. Usually the energy level will start going up, so there's less coffee dependent, and then fewer sugar cravings. The caffeine or the coffee is not that, if you do organic, you'll probably be okay if you can find yourself a good organic coffee. But the big thing you have is less sugar cravings and cravings towards chips and other items that we're trying to avoid. Benefits: less water retention. We did a lecture a few weeks ago in terms of weight. And a lot of times, if we're eating foods that we're allergic to, we're going to produce a histamine response. Histamine is going to require fluids, and fluids get stored. Subsequently, with something like the clear change diet, you will have reduction of fluid because you'll have reduction of histamine. And histamine's releasing a lot of times due to foods that you're eating that you're not allergic to, and or you have such a heavy tox burden that it's difficult to lose the weight. So how do we get started? How do we do it? Questionnaire. I would definitely take the questionnaire, see where you are. If you're under 9, then you're probably in good shape. We get really, quite frankly, most people are over 9, and we do get a couple with 50 plus. So that would be the first thing to do. Two types of programs. One's the 10-day, one's the 28-day. For more mild symptoms, you might want to do the 10-day. You will have the benefit of some weight loss for those trying to lose weight, anywhere again from 6 to 10 pounds or in a range in between. 28-day is usually for someone who's had a heavy exposure and also is trying to utilize better weight control and has looked into making sure they can be compliant with that type of program. It's a little bit more work, but it does, and it is very effective. Getting started, simple protocol. As I said previously, get all your products that you need, do your grocery shopping. It's recommended that you do days 5 through, basically utilize Monday as your start day, because days 5 through 7 can be a little treacherous, because that's where you're going to notice the more of a major detox. It's a kind of ironical. You'll see people that will feel totally energized, never felt better on those days. Other people struggle a little bit more. Remember, the nice thing about this too is the foods that are allowed on that day. You can eat as many of those foods as you choose, so you're not being deprived. Metabolic detoxification. This will also help you decrease your food intake, and you're on a low allergy potential foods. Thus, that's why you're going to have the weight gain, the weight loss. Reintroduction. When you're done with the 10-day or you're done with the 28-day, you slowly, in the program kind of goes through this with you, you slowly reintroduce the foods. One way really to reintroduce them is to find out which ones you are allergic to. Again, a blood serology test can be helpful. Some of those go through your insurance, or there's companies like LCAT that run those. Caffeine can be tricky. A little bit of organic caffeine, i.e. Coffee, is allowed. When you're going to do this, I always do a level scoop because it's planned out on that basis. So I don't like to see someone having to spend more money if they've done heaping scoops and they're a day or two short of their product. Plenty of water. This says 64. I say go 80, 85. Slowly flush the renal calyces, slowly flush out the toxins, and sip the water as though it was a wine of some sort. If you get hungry, utilize, it's plenty of food. Utilize the foods that are allowed on that particular day. The metabolic, the diary. So this is the test you'll take before, and then you'll be taking this test. I like you to take this test after. See where you are. How much progress was made? Did you drop a couple points? Did you drop 10, 15, 20 points? The only way we're going to assess it is, number one, physically how you're feeling, and number two, take the test before and take the test after. And simple protocol with menus. There is online support, which is great, and that has some of the additional recipes and frequently asked questions. It has some good daily tips too, kind of a support group. There are some clear change daily essentials can help. There are some patients that need a little bit additional support, nutraceutical botanical support. So that's one. The GI out to flora balance, a flora for the gut is definitely recommended. If you want to get more information, there's the actual link to that. And the product itself, you feel free to just contact us at drsadlick.com and email us. We'll be more than happy to give you further links. And also through that methodology, you'll also be able to get that at a discounted price. Our number, 520-297-9664. And thank you very much for attending.